serving as your chairperson today. We'll begin this morning's meeting with a roll call. Mr. Ragsdale, would you proceed, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. McKinnon? Here. Mr. Norman? Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. McKinnon? Here. Oh, he stepped out. Okay, he is here. And Mr. Thomas is here as well. I'll let her show that Mr. Norman and Mr. Thomas are both here. Ms. Wilbanks? Mr. Winter? Here. Ms. Lyles Wallace, Vice Chair Lyles Wallace? And Chair Sharp?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you.
Chair Sharp?
Here. I would like to remind you that copies of today's agenda are located at the front right podium if you need them. If you wish to be a speaker on any case that's on today's agenda, please fill out an attendance speaker's card located at the front podium. Once you have filled out the card, please bring it up front and hand it to one of our DPD staff members located at the left podium. When that agenda item is called, you will be given an opportunity to speak. At this point, I would like to read our conflict of interest statement. The adopted policy of the Land Use Control Board requires that any member of the board recuse himself or herself from any participation in the discussion or voting on any matter on the meeting's agenda in which he or she may have direct or indirect personal interest. The member shall vacate his or her seat during deliberation on any matter from which they have recused themselves. An abstention may substitute for a recusal for the purpose of maintaining a quorum. I would like to now get approval of our minutes from the last meeting. May I please have a motion? Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. Is there any discussion amongst our board members? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I assume we're ready to vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those against, nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Mr.
Madam Chair, excuse me, just 1 second. I didn't realize that Mr. Thomas was not here. So we actually do need the 7 members for the minutes as well. So if we can just make sure that Mr. Thomas is a yes on the minutes. Okay, so we have 7